So we have reached a new low where Donald Trump will praise anyone, absolutely anyone, who says anything positive about him. There's this thing, I hate to even call it that, called QAnon. Some people call it Canon. Some people call it Canon. Some people call it Quanon. Anyway, QAnon. QAnon is a radical right conspiracy theory. It involves a deep state plot supposed against Donald Trump. A group or a person or an entity named Q claims to have classified information about it, has made all sorts of allegations. It really hasn't been worth our time to cover, but it has slowly infected Trump rallies, and it has slowly infected Trumpism, and it has spread through Trump supporters. And it got to the point where yesterday, Donald Trump was actually asked about this during his press briefing, and Trump seems to like QAnon and almost endorse QAnon, despite claiming that he doesn't actually know anything about them. Take a look at this.
During the pandemic, the QAnon movement appears to be gaining a lot of followers. Can you talk about what you think about that and what you have to say to people who are following this movement right now?
Well, I don't know much about the movement other than I understand they like me very much, which I appreciate. But I don't know much about the movement. I have heard that it is gaining in popularity, and from what I hear, these are people that when they watch the streets of Portland, when they watch what happened in New York City in just the last 6 or 7 months, but this was starting even 4 years ago when I came here, almost 4 years, can you believe it? These are people that don't like seeing what's going on in places like Portland and places like Chicago and New York and other cities and states. And I've heard these are people that love our country and they just don't like seeing it. So I don't know really anything about it other than they do supposedly like me, and they also would like to see problems in these areas, like especially the areas that we're talking about, go away.
I've heard these people love our country. This is really close to an endorsement of QAnon, if you can imagine something so outrageous. Then the reporter smartly follows up and says, well, you know, QAnon claims that you, Donald Trump, are saving the world from a satanic cult of pedophilia and cannibalism. Is that something that you're doing? And Trump still sort of says, hey, you know, me as a savior of the world, that sounds pretty good. Trump can't get away from anybody who says anything positive about Trump, no matter how outrageous or laced with conspiracies. Take a look.
Theory is this belief that you are secretly saving the world from this satanic cult of pedophiles and cannibals. Does that sound like something you are behind?
Well, I haven't heard that, but is that supposed to be a bad thing or a good thing? I mean, you know, if I can help save the world from problems, I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to put myself out there. And we are, actually. We're saving the world from a radical left philosophy that will destroy this country. And when this country is gone, the rest of the world would follow. The rest of the world would follow.
The president is certainly not saying that's insane and I denounce it. Okay? The president is certainly not saying anything that they say about me is false. What Trump is saying is they sound like good people. They like me. They love our country. And they say I'm saving the world from things. Well, I am saving the world from things. That doesn't sound so bad. I really hope that people understand how absolutely outrageous this is. This is similar to a president endorsing Pizzagate. This is similar to a president embracing birtherism. Yikes. Okay, yeah. Well, birtherism, that too. I read that Jeb Bush was horrified that Donald Trump seemed to endorse Q. This is not Jeb Bush's Republican Party anymore, but Jeb Bush does bear responsibility for this being the Republican Party as of today. And I think that that's really where I want to focus our time. This is why I keep bringing up that after Donald Trump is gone, whenever it is, whether it's January or January of 2025, or as Trump recently suggested, getting a third term, January of 2029. That's a joke, by the way. The Republican Party is really going to have to figure out, what do we do with the Trumpists? If Trump loses in November, he will lose despite 60 million or 62 or 64 or 66 million people voting for him. What does the Republican Party do with those 60 plus million people who want Trump reelected? What does the country do with the 60 million people is a different question, which I don't have an answer to. But as far as the Republican Party, this is what happens when you welcome any lunatic who is willing to vote against Democrats for decades. The anti-abortionists, come on in. The homophobes, come on in. The cartoonish libertarians, come on in. The white nationalists, the conspiracy theorists, the religious nuts selling silver solution, right? Everybody come on in. Well, they're here now, and they selected Trump in the 2016 primary, and they're reaping what they've sown. And now Jeb Bush doesn't like it. Colin Powell doesn't like it. As far as Jeb Bush, if Jeb Bush is concerned about what he's hearing from Donald Trump, come out publicly and say, we have to vote for Joe Biden. Where's George W. Bush? We know George W. Bush is not endorsing Trump. He's not participating in the presidential election and is reportedly disturbed by some of the things Donald Trump has done and said. Why doesn't George W. Bush come out and say, for the sake of our country, we must all vote for Joe Biden this time around? And then lastly, on the press briefing, just as like a cherry on top, Trump still seems to think that stealth airplanes, which of course they're invisible to radar, Trump still seems to think that they're invisible to the naked eye. Take a look at this.
He said very difficult. I was asking a pilot, what do you think is better? This one, that one? Talking about Russian planes, Chinese planes. He said, well, the advantage we have is you can't see it. So when we're fighting, they can't see us. I say, that sounds like a really big advantage to me.
This is where we are today. This is where we are today. And we may have 4 more years of this. It's a real possibility. It's up to us to prevent it. We're going to have more on this on the David Pakman Show Instagram, which is David Pakman Show on Instagram. You can follow me on Instagram. Why would you follow me? I don't know. But you can see pictures and updates of my urban garden, my cukes and my zooks. I've got 8 inchers, 10 inchers, footlongs. It's crazy what's going on out there with my cukes and zooks. Follow me on Instagram at david.pakman. If you are anything like me, you probably aren't thrilled with the idea of going into a doctor's office right now. And thankfully, there's a practical and affordable way to take control of your health and get personalized care from the comfort of your home. It's a service called SteadyMD. They're one of our sponsors. You take a quiz, you get matched with a licensed primary care physician who understands your health needs. You have a 1-hour video call with your new doctor. You establish a meaningful relationship with them. And after that, your doctor is available to you anytime by text, phone, or video chat. This is not a random doctor on call. Each doctor at SteadyMD has a limited number of patients, so they actually have time to listen to you. You get the personal attention that you deserve. They can do almost everything an in-person doctor can do: perform medical evaluations, talk to you about health concerns, send prescriptions to your home or local pharmacy, and anything they can't do online, they'll quickly set you up with an in-person provider to do, things like blood tests, as an example. You don't need insurance. It's only $99 a month with no other fees or copays. There are so many practical advantages to using SteadyMD for primary care, and it's also so much more affordable. Go to steadymd.com/Pakman to take the free quiz, see which doctor is right for you. I took their quiz. They matched me with a doctor who specializes in my particular health needs and situation. The doctor they gave me is a really perfect fit for me and my medical needs. There's no risk, no commitment to get started. Just click the link right underneath this video.